If you've been following our channel since last year, then you should be somewhat familiar with the Wanbo brand by now. But if you haven't, or if you're someone new to the YugaTech channel, well, welcome. And also, here's a quick background about the brand. Wanbo makes some of the most affordable and portable projectors available in the market. We've already tried out a few and we're quite impressed with how capable they are, given their very affordable price point. Today, we're checking out another new model from Wanbo, the T2 Ultra. At first, you might mistake it for the Wanbo DALI 1 projector we tried out last year, but this one does have a few tricks up its sleeve and also it's a bit bigger. But again, the important question is this. Is the Wanbo T2 Ultra something you should consider for your home theater or even an outdoor theater? Well, I'm Jose from YugaTech and let's find out in this review of the Wanbo T2 Ultra. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Wanbo T2 Ultra looks somewhat similar in terms of shape to the DALI 1 we tried last year. But if you look a bit closer, you'll start to notice the difference between the two, and that's the stand. For one, the T2 Ultra features a bigger stand that comes standard with the projector, which makes it a lot more flexible to use. And as a result, this makes it possible to not only project movies onto a wall, but even onto the ceiling. It's not the best for your neck, but hey, it's still a cool feature nonetheless. Now, setting up the Wanbo T2 Ultra is a lot easier too. Just set the projector down, adjust the angle and distance, and you're pretty much good to go. Because of the design of the stand though, there's not a lot of flexibility when moving it right or left, apart from actually pointing it left or right. As for the Wanbo T2 Ultra itself, it is a lot bigger as I mentioned earlier, but it's still very portable. As you can see, I can carry it easily with one hand, and that's assuming you have bigger hands. And more importantly, it's not that heavy. But perhaps the most important factor is that it's still very easy to set up at home and even hide away when it's not in use. It's still made out of plastic though, and it doesn't feel that premium, but hey, this isn't something that you'll be touching all the time like a smartphone. As for the design of the projector itself, it looks nice, and you get this all white finish with black accents. This means even if you're not using it, the projector will match the rest of the room. Imagine I put it there, it will match. See what I mean? Now it also comes built in with two 5-watt speakers, which we'll talk about more later on, along with the power button at the top. There's no shortage of ports too, since you do get one full-size HDMI port, a USB-A port for your multimedia devices, and even a 3.5mm audio port. These are all neatly hidden at the back, perfect for you guys who are very OC with cable management. Now out of the box, you only get a power cable and the remote to control the device though. This means you will have to supply the HDMI and the aux cable yourself. But enough talk about the projector. I'm sure you're all curious how it performs. According to Wanbo, the T2 Ultra has a peak brightness of 500 ANSI and a maximum resolution of 1080p. Compared to other compact projectors we've tried, the T2 Ultra does seem to be a bit brighter, at least to our eyes. However, you still need a dark room to see everything very clearly on screen and to get the best viewing experience. Here at the YugaTech HQ, we had to close most of the lights in the area where we set up the projector to have some of the best viewing experience. But for those of you wondering though, it is usable even with the lights on, but you will have a hard time seeing some of the things on the screen. At most, you can have some ambient lighting, but that's about it. Now, as for the image size, the T2 Ultra has a maximum image size of 140 inches. Since it only has a 1080p resolution, we found that you get the best viewing experience when you don't really max it out. Somewhere around 90 to 100 inches is the perfect size. The moment you make the image size too big, whatever you're watching does tend to become low res, and you do see some distortion. Now, as for the colors, they're great and vivid once you've set everything up, which should take just less than 5 minutes. At most, you'll be tinkering with the keystone manually to make the image as flat as possible. The Wanbo T2 Ultra does come with automatic focusing, keystone, and even object detection, all of which can be found on the image correction menu. Still, we noticed it was having a hard time getting the keystone perfect with our projector screen. Instead, I did have to manually adjust the keystone in order to get it to project perfectly. But once it was set up correctly, it was very easy to use. The speakers are quite loud despite their size and easily filled up the living room at the YugaTech HQ. But of course, do set your expectations. They're not the best quality, so we do recommend pairing it with a larger speaker to give viewers that surround sound effect just like you would in a movie theater. Now, everything you need to control the Wanbo T2 Ultra projector is done using the remote. The projector comes with Android 11 out of the box, and you are given the option to sign into your Google account while setting it up. From there are a bunch of pre-installed apps including Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, and even YouTube Music. But if you're using a different streaming service, you can just download them directly from the Google Play Store, which is already pre-installed in the projector. Now, given that it runs on Android 11, you do have to set your expectations. The UI is simple and bare bones, but it is very easy to use. In fact, it reminds me somewhat of older smart TVs. Best of all, you can even cast your phone to the projector directly without needing to download any other app. And it works similarly to how you would cast your phone onto a modern smart TV. Just find the Wanbo T2 Ultra on your phone and you can automatically cast it similar to Google Cast on TVs. Interestingly though, it doesn't really work with Apple devices. So I couldn't get my iPhone to pair with it, but an Android device does pair easily. Now, in terms of the performance of the OS, we did notice that it was a bit slow when you're going through the menu. It also launched apps like Netflix and YouTube a bit slower as compared to other Android-powered projectors we've tried before. Once you're in the app though, there is no problem, which is a good thing. When it's playing music, the fan is rather quiet and it's hard to notice even when you're sitting directly beside the projector or behind it. The built-in speakers can easily drown out the small sound the fan makes too, so no problem there. Now, overall though, the Wanbo T2 Ultra is a great projector to have if you want to start diving into the world of projectors or even home theater packages. Its lightweight and compact package makes it easy to bring around, and not in use, it's easy to store and even fits most of your stuff at home or even in your room. But perhaps best of all, this little thing is very affordable. At the time we recorded this video, the Wanbo T2 Ultra retails for just 10,399 pesos on their official Shopee page. It's not as affordable as the Wanbo DALI one, but this can do a lot more depending on the setup you're going for. Still, it's far from perfect. It doesn't work well in places with a lot of light, and the slow loading of the apps are a bit of a letdown. More importantly, it is a bit difficult to set up when you're at an angle because it doesn't really swivel. You just move it left or right. But for its price point, these are things you can overlook, especially considering how much more expensive the more capable projectors cost. I mean, this one is just 10,000 pesos. If you get a better projector, that's probably gonna add another zero into it. But what do you think of the Wanbo T2 Ultra? Is it something you'd consider getting this 2025 if you want to make an indoor movie theater or even an outdoor movie theaters wherever you want to go? Whatever the case, share your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, that's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit yugatech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Jose, and I'll see you guys next time. This also reminds me of Eva.